Hey lovelies, this is Miss Mac again. I just want to give a quick overview of the if function, super duper quick, like I said, and then I really want to focus on the creating a code assignment that you guys have. So this is nothing new. This is a repeated slide right here. It's only one. All this stuff should be in your notes, but if you really need the video from last time, that will be on Schoology for you. So the if function, the whole point of being a logical function is asking a question. Okay, if you're asking a question, you need to have a location to find the answer. Your answers are on the spreadsheet. The function itself is the question. So we start with the equal sign if, parentheses, just like always. And then this logical test right here, that is your question. Is the cell equal to something? Is it less than? Is it greater than? And it could be a number or it could be letters. It could be a word. So is A2 equal to 5? Is B3 less than 7? Does C9 equal cat? Whatever, okay? You come up with the test. Now the next part is the value of true, comma, and then the value of false. So if we're asking a question, right, then the computer doesn't know how to respond. It's not smart. It can't understand logic like we do. You have to provide literally the answer, which is in the cell. You have to provide the question, and then you have to give the computer options of, after asking the question, you're going to tell me either this or this. So your value of true is always going to come first, right? And we're testing what's in the cell. So if your question is A5 equal to 3, and you go up in your spreadsheet and look at A5 and it is the number 3, that is true. Whatever word is here in quotation marks, that's going to be the computer's response. If it wasn't equal to 3 or whatever, then it's going to be false, and whatever's in these set of quotation marks will be the response from the computer. So think about it that way. Your spreadsheet is all the answers. You're just phrasing the question. You already have the answers, and then you're telling the computer you can either say this response or that one. That's the only thing we're doing with this. All right, so this is a example worksheet that I made up. You guys would be starting with a Word document or a piece of notebook paper. If you're writing on notebook paper, make sure it's very neat and very clear so other people can read it easily. The first thing that we need to do is at the very top, you need to create your own miniature spreadsheet, okay? Make it easier on other students. Label the A, B, C, D, however many columns you have. And you shouldn't have more than like 2, maybe 3 rows, depending on how many columns you have. The assignment says you have to have 6 to 10 words, so you can kind of play around with your columns and rows, just make sure you have enough. So you, on your piece of paper, would need to draw the boxes. What I did on my example here is I went ahead and drew the table. I did the A, B, C in 1, 2, and I left it blank. Okay, and then I came down here, I wrote solve the code, and I labeled it 1 through 4. That just helps the person know what order you're intending. So, number 1, I'm writing number 1, or you are, and then you are writing these functions on your worksheet with a blank. Another student later is going to come in, look at these functions, refer to the answers in your spreadsheet, and they are going to write the response as if they're Excel in the blank. So here we go. In my mind, I was like, okay, what phrase do I want to use? I'm going to do Miss Mac misses you. Those are my words. So those are going to halfway tell me what some of my responses, my value of true, value is false, is going to be. So I always start with equal sign if, and then the opening parentheses, just like normal. Now I need my question. So I ask myself, okay, Miss Mac misses you. The first word I need is miss. Okay, so I just randomly came up with the question. Is A2 greater than or equal to 5? I need it to be, if I'm putting miss first, I need it to be true. So A2 either needs to be 5 or greater than 5. So then I came up here to my cell, I clicked it, I typed 5, and then I came down here and I put miss in quotation marks, comma, And then I just put something random, right? It's going to be the false response that I don't want. So I put hello in my quotation marks, in my parentheses, and then draw a blank. So the other person who is solving the code has somewhere to write, okay? Number 2, Miss Mac. So my response this time needs to be Mac. So I did =if, parentheses. Now I have my question. So in my head, you don't want to make your worksheet too easy, right? It shouldn't always be the true answer every time. It shouldn't always be =, it shouldn't always be greater than, it shouldn't always be the number 5. Mix it up. That's going to help you whenever you're creating these different functions, because we're going to be adding on and on and on to these if functions. They get pretty darn complex. So you're not doing yourself any favors by trying to basically use the same function over and over and over, okay? So I know that my second word needs to be Mac. My question, I said, okay, I'm going to pick something out of the B column. I said B1, just pluck a cell, doesn't matter. Is equal to, and I picked the word dog because I'm trying to get used to having words and numbers in my question. Okay, last time I used greater than or equal to, so this time I just use equal to and a word. B1 equals dog. Now, because last time I used miss as the true response, I want it to be false this time. Again, we're trying to get used to being more complex with these functions. So I do not want B1 to equal dog, because then the answer would be teach. So I went up to B1, I put 25. It's not even a word. Don't let that confuse you, okay? So is 25 the same thing as dog? No, okay? So the response I would expect here is Mac, because that's the value of false. That's what I want. So I needed a value of true, because I know it's not going to be true, so I just picked a random word, teach, whatever, okay? Close it out with your quotation marks and your parentheses. Leave a blank for them to write the response. Number 3, Miss Mac misses. So this word needs to result in the word misses. I did the opening. I picked column C since I haven't used it yet. I randomly decided on greater than or equal to 10. That's my question. So it doesn't have to go true, false, true, false, true, false. Just mix it up, okay? It doesn't matter. On this one, I just decided to do the true value. So that means C2 needs to be greater than or equal to 10. So I came up here to C2. What's the number that's bigger than 10? That is 3 down to 50. So this logical question here, C2 is greater than or equal to 10. Well, that's true, right? 50 is bigger than 10. So comma, my true value is misses, because that's the response I'm wanting. Put that in quotation marks, put a comma, and then my value of false, just pick a random word, doesn't even matter, okay? So I just put forgets, and then end with my quotation marks and my parentheses, draw a line for their answer. Number 4, so Miss Mac misses you. I need the response to be you. So in here, and I actually made a mistake here, the word military is supposed to have quotation marks around it. So I open up just like normal for my if function, and I say A1 equals military. If it's true, the response is you. If it's false, the response is me. Remember, Miss Mac misses you. I need it to be true because that's where I have the you. So then I went up to A1. I typed in the word military. I finished out my function, and then I put a blank. At the very bottom, I wrote code, and then a long line where the person would write just what they got from these blanks here. Miss Mac misses you. Now, make sure you don't have it should be a code, a phrase, a sentence, something, 6 to 10 words. So you don't want icicle, doorknob, panther, orange. How is the person going to know if they actually did the worksheet correctly when it doesn't make sense? Okay. It can be goofy. It can be whatever. It doesn't have to be CIA related or whatever. Just pick something that makes logical sense in a phrase or sentence, so they're helping the other student out so they know if they did it right or wrong. So just to recap here, you are coming up with this little spreadsheet at the top. You pick the columns, you pick the rows. I don't care, as long as you have enough boxes to put your stuff in. I just labeled it, my columns and my rows, and I left them blank. I wrote solve the code. You're going to have 6 to 10 of these. I just did 4 as an example. Before you start writing your functions, think in your head, what do I want my phrase to be? And then you go start at the first word, go in order, and work your way down, okay? I decided what my word was going to be. right? Because I already know my phrase. This is Miss. Come up with your question. Whether it's 5, dog, hello, military, 10, 50, whatever. Come up with your question. Decide if you want it to be true or false, right? The response word that you want needs to go whichever one you picked. So in this case, true. And then go up to your spreadsheet up here and make the answers in there, give the response you want. Hopefully that clarifies it for you guys. You are creating the spreadsheet at the top. You're creating the 6 to 10 functions down here with blanks out to the side. At the very bottom, code, and then put the long blank. My goal is after you're done, you're all going to swap papers. So someone you don't have, swap a couple times so no one gets left out. And then you are going to be using their spreadsheet up here, looking at their code, their functions here, filling in the blanks with what you think the responses are going to be, and then write out, just copy from the blanks here, write out the code at the very bottom. After you're done with that, you'll be done with the assignment. So if you have any questions, this video will be on Schoology. The lecture over the PowerPoint that your notes are from will also be on Schoology. This is not intended to be a group assignment. However, especially since I'm not there, if you have a question or something, yes, you can ask the person next to you, not someone across the room, but just quietly lean over and whisper to someone. Ask them, I'm confused. Would I do it this way or that way? You can ask them a question. But if you ask that person a question about your paper, you cannot trade with that person because they've already seen your paper. All right. Good luck. Use your resources, use your notes, use these videos, and I have all the faith in the world you guys will be just fine. All right. See you soon.